Thank you for joining us today. I want to welcome you to the 2021 Award and Portrait presentations. I'm so glad that we could do this. Because of the pandemic, we had to cancel last year's ceremony. So this is the first time we've done this since 2019. Today, we will honor a group of 29 alumni clinicians, educators, and researchers who have greatly influenced medicine and science. Some of these women and men spent their careers at Johns Hopkins, while others studied here and then migrated elsewhere. I'll have some help today. Dr. Diane Olinsky, president of the Johns Hopkins Medical and Surgical Association, will be presenting the Distinguished Medical Alumni Awards for the Johns Hopkins Medical and Surgical Association. Along with several others, our pathology department director, Dr. Ralph Ruban, will present the Johns Hopkins University Alumni Association Awards. During the ceremony, we will be unveiling the portraits of people who have contributed significantly to the school and the institution. These paintings will become part of our collection of more than 300 portraits, which honor the greatest clinicians, educators, scientists, leaders, and philanthropic supporters who have made a major difference here over their careers. I would like to take a moment to recognize the two fantastic artists who have created the 5 paintings we will unveil today. Between them, Peter Eggerly and his daughter Lisa have been responsible for more than 50 Johns Hopkins portraits over the years. As you'll see today, they are extremely good at what they do. Now, I would like to turn things over to Dr. Olinsky, who will present the Distinguished Medical Alumni Awards. Diane?
The Distinguished Medical Alumni Award honors alumni of the School of Medicine and the Johns Hopkins Hospital who have demonstrated excellence and achievement through their personal and professional accomplishments. This year, the Johns Hopkins Medical and Surgical Association, the body that represents all alumni, including graduates and former trainees, awarded 8 recipients, and I'm honored to introduce them to you today. Dr. Eli Adashi is a tenured professor and a former dean of medicine and biological sciences at Brown University. He has been the recipient of continuous National Institutes of Health funding from 1985 to 2005, inclusive of a USPHS Research Career Development Award. Dr. Adashi is presently a member of the Advisory Council of the Hastings Center Bioethics Research Institute and chair of the Medical Executive Committee and the Medical Advisory Council of the Jones Foundation for Reproductive Medicine. Dr. Richard Conti served on the cardiology faculty at Johns Hopkins from 1968 to 1974. He is Professor Emeritus of Medicine at University of Florida Health. Internationally recognized as an expert in cardiovascular medicine, he served as president of the American College of Cardiology and has been recognized around the globe for his scholarly work, which includes over 700 scientific papers, abstracts, book chapters, and books. Dr. Keith D. Lilimo received his medical degree at Johns Hopkins, staying for surgical training, and served on faculty for 17 years before going to the Indiana School of Medicine as the Chief of Surgery and Chairman of the Department of Surgery in 2003. After serving in that capacity for 8 years, he accepted the job as Chief of Surgery and Chairman of the Department of Surgery at the Massachusetts General Hospital. Dr. Donna Magid is a devoted educator and mentor. As director of both the Johns Hopkins University School of Medicine Horizontal Strand in Diagnostic Imaging and undergraduate medical education and radiology, she develops and oversees educational programs and curricula to ensure a firm foundation in and safe, effective use of imaging in medical practice. Dr. Magid is also recognized nationally and by the students for intense involvement with career mentoring, emphasizing precise, appropriate use of medical English and the nonverbal aspects of professional demeanor and comportment. Dr. Fred Merkel performed pioneering work in liver and pancreatic transplantation at the University of Minnesota, where, with 2 colleagues, he performed the first human pancreatic transplant in December 1966. His contributions led to Medicare coverage of kidney transplants in 1974 and helped develop organ sharing between programs in America, Europe, and the Middle East. He served as president of the American Society of Transplant Surgery and has performed 142 visiting professorships around the world. Dr. Joseph Moore is currently a professor at Duke Cancer Center. There, he has earned both the Leonard Tao Humanism in Medicine and Distinguished Faculty Awards. However, he may best be known as the cancer physician for the college basketball coach Jimmy Valvano, who died of metastatic cancer. Dr. Moore worked with the Valvano family and ESPN Sports Network to establish a major cancer research charitable foundation in 1993, which to date has distributed more than $150 million to cancer research. Dr. Srinivas Sada has made countless contributions to the field of ophthalmology. One of his greatest contributions has been helping to develop artificial intelligence diabetic retinal imaging analysis software, recently approved by the FDA and only the second of its kind to be created. His research has been consistently funded by the National Institutes of Health and multiple private organizations, and he served as principal investigator on over 30 major clinical trials. Dr. Joseph Cerletti is a national leader in academic plastic surgery whose accomplishments span leadership, innovation, education, and clinical excellence. His contributions have had immeasurable impact on national plastic surgery, the education of several generations of plastic surgeons, and most importantly, patient care worldwide.
What makes me the proudest to be an alumnus of Johns Hopkins is its legacy of excellence, which is recognized the world over. And since excellence is all about people, that is, after all, where it all begins. My first recollection may well have been that of A. McGee Harvey, whose user-friendly textbook of medicine was all I required as a medical student. Closer to home, of course, was the legacy of Howard and Georgiana Jones, with whom I had the privilege of serving my Hopkins Fellowship. Innovators of the highest order and ultimately the originators of in vitro fertilization in the United States, the Joneses were classic Hopkins material. Nothing but the best.
I was asked what makes me most proud to be an alumnus of Johns Hopkins. The teaching skills of the faculty, both basic and clinical, were extraordinary, but in particular, I would like to mention a special few. The first individual I'd like to mention is Lee Clark, who I worked with as a medical student, who eventually recruited me to the University of Florida to be chief of cardiology in 1974. Dick Ross, who was then chief of cardiology at Hopkins when I was an intern, resident, fellow, and faculty.
Being the recipient of the Johns Hopkins School of Medicine Distinguished Medical Alumnus Award is truly one of the greatest honors of my career. Though it may not be known to most, I entered Johns Hopkins School of Medicine through the back door as a transfer student after graduating from the then 2-year medical school at the University of South Dakota. I think it's fair to say that the opportunity to enter the tremendously stimulating academic environment, and particularly the great culture of excellence in the Department of Surgery at Hopkins under George Zeidema and then John Cameron, provided me with an opportunity to achieve goals I could never have dreamed of as a farm kid from South Dakota. I want to thank my teachers, my colleagues, my trainees, and my many friends from my almost 30 years at Hopkins, many whom I remain close to this day. So when asked what makes me most proud to be an alumnus of Johns Hopkins, it is a simple answer, is that Hopkins provides an unmatched opportunity to build relationships and friendships that last a lifetime. My thanks to the Hopkins Medical and Surgical Association for bringing us all together for these great events. I hope we can all do this in person next year. Thanks again to all.
From the first day of medical school, Hopkins has given me a lifelong opportunity to respond to the Martin Luther King quote I've always found the most compelling, which is, life's most persistent and urgent question is, what have you done for others? At Hopkins, I found a niche educating, mentoring, and hopefully enabling our amazing students and residents to excel. In the normal flow of time, they first join us, and then if we've done it right, they surpass and eventually replace us, building on and contributing back to their Hopkins foundations, whether here or elsewhere. I am extremely appreciative of and honored by this recognition. Thank you.
Thank you so much for this wonderful award. I didn't expect it, but I certainly accept it with great gratitude. Johns Hopkins was the place where I started, where my whole life in academic surgery and in transplantation began. I loved the wonderful professors and teachers that we had, the way they were able to inspire us. Sometimes I would sit at the edge of my seat. The lectures were so exciting and interesting. And I had wonderful classmates, and we learned so much. We certainly learned how to be good doctors. We were taught how to look and listen at patients, listen with patients, how to handle them, how to show them with kindness and understanding, and how to begin to take them off to success there with medical therapy. The whole time at Hopkins was a complete joy, and I couldn't be happier. Thank you very much for this award.
Every day, I am proud to be an alumnus of the Johns Hopkins Medical School and the Osler Medical House staff. I was taught there a tradition of excellence in patient care, teaching, and research, and I've carried that forward for the last 45 years at Duke University Medical Center, where I'm full professor. I want to give a shout out to my classmates from the class of 1970. They were extraordinary, still are. And I want to thank the Johns Hopkins Medical and Surgical Society for this wonderful honor, which is unbelievably appreciated. And I thank you very much.
To be recognized by the Johns Hopkins School of Medicine as a Distinguished Medical Alumnus is a tremendous honor for which I am deeply humbled. I'm so proud to be an alumnus of the institution, which is not only the recognized leader of medicine worldwide today, but also truly the birthplace of modern medicine. And so for me personally, to be able to train at Hopkins for medical school, then residency, fellowship, and then to join the faculty, that really gave me the foundation that has truly been inspiration for my entire career in academic medicine. And so I think being a Hopkins alumnus, you feel an incredible responsibility to take this amazing training and then make an impact on your field moving forward. And so it's all about paying it forward. And to this day, whenever I come back to Baltimore to visit the campus, I get chills when I walk under the dome, thinking about the traditions of all of the leaders of medicine who've walked through these halls in the past. And so I'm truly grateful for this amazing honor.
I am both proud and humbled to be an alumnus of what is without doubt the greatest medical institution in the world, Hopkins Medicine, and its tradition of excellence in patient care, research, and education. My time at Hopkins had an immeasurable impact on my career as I, throughout my career, sought to live up to these high ideals that are the core values of Hopkins Medicine. I cannot even begin to fully express my sincere gratitude. And again, I remain incredibly humbled to receive this Alumni Achievement Award. From the bottom of my heart, I want to thank all of you.
It is my honor today to present the portrait of Dr. Tina Chang, who served from 2016 to 2020 as the director of the Department of Pediatrics and pediatrician-in-chief of the Johns Hopkins Hospital. Dr. Chang was recruited to Hopkins from George Washington University in 2002 to become the division director of general pediatrics and adolescent medicine. Dr. Chang's academic career focused on improving the health of vulnerable children, adolescents, and families through community-based interventions. Tina's work demonstrated that social determinants such as poverty, poor education, housing, marginal nutrition, violence, and racism have profound impacts on child health that last over the entire life course. She helped create innovative research and clinical centers within the Harriet Lane Clinic, the Latino community at Bayview, and the Baltimore school system. Her work demonstrated that academic pediatrics could intervene in the community where our families live to enhance the health of children, their families, and improve the effectiveness of our medical systems over entire lifespans. Because of her national recognition and leadership in this area, she was promoted to professor at Johns Hopkins in 2004 and elected to membership in the National Academy of Medicine in 2017. Tina Chang was a transformative director of pediatrics at Johns Hopkins. By transformative, I mean not simply that she was the first female director of the department, but that she expanded the tripartite missions of the department to encompass an understanding that the major determinants of child health lie beyond the diagnosis and treatment of disease. Most importantly, Tina is a phenomenal mentor and role model. She is known for expanding the pipeline and diversity of pediatric trainees, mentored dozens of interdisciplinary researchers, many from underrepresented minorities, and many more clinicians who have gone on to be leaders in health sciences, services, innovations, and community health. In her own words, pediatricians can do more than care for sick children. They have the power to change their lives, to preempt injury and illness. Tina, congratulations and thank you for your leadership, your mentorship, and demonstration of how much more we can do for the health of children in our community.
It has been a distinct honor and privilege to be a faculty member at Johns Hopkins University, a leader of the Johns Hopkins Children's Center, and the 9th director of the Department of Pediatrics and a child advocate. Our vision that Johns Hopkins Pediatric is the birthplace of modern pediatrics and the future of health speaks the truth. This is a place of many historic firsts in pediatrics and continues to innovate and create the future for child health. I believe deeply that children are the foundation for lifelong health, and we do incredibly important work for all children in our community and globally. I've often said that children are 9% of US healthcare spending and 100% of our future. The tripartite mission of clinical care, research, and training the next generation of child health professionals is in service to that future. I am forever grateful for being part of this vision with all of you and for the honor of this portrait on behalf of the children, adolescents, and families that we serve.
Hi, I'm Ralph Ruban, a proud member of the class of 1985 and a member of the university's Alumni Council since 2016. The university's Distinguished Alumni Award honors alumni who have typified the Johns Hopkins tradition of excellence and have brought credit to the university by their personal accomplishments, their professional achievements, or humanitarian service. Today, the Johns Hopkins Alumni Association is honoring 11 award recipients. Dr. Michael Brunt is a professor of surgery at Washington University in St. Louis and is a recognized leader and clinical expert in laparoscopic, endocrine, and hernia surgery. He also, and this must be a fun job, is the team surgeon for the St. Louis Blues, and he has a nationwide referral practice for collegiate and professional athletes with sports hernias. As passionate about education as he is about research, Dr. John Lorsch worked to reform the curricula for graduate and medical education. He became the director of the National Institute of General Medicine Sciences in August of 2013, which supports basic research that lays the foundation for advances in disease diagnosis, treatment, and prevention. Dr. Mary Lynch is a professor of ophthalmology at Emory University School of Medicine. Her research has focused on innovative ways of dealing with difficult problems in glaucoma. She wrote early and classic papers on side effects from beta blocker eye drops, on the surgical treatment of malignant glaucoma, and on the 360-degree suture trabeculotomy for the treatment of congenital glaucoma. An internationally recognized physician scientist, Dr. Jonathan Simons, is the president and chief executive officer of the Prostate Cancer Foundation. He leads this foundation with passion and intelligence. Prior to taking on his current role, Jonathan made original contributions to human prostate cancer research here at Johns Hopkins University and later at Emory University. Dr. Gary Darmstadt is a leading scholar, innovator, and one of the most important voices worldwide on strategies and interventions to save the lives and improve the health and development of young children in low and middle income countries. He trained in pediatrics at Hopkins and led the creation and implementation of global research for the Saving Newborn Lives initiative at Save the Children, funded by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Dr. Brian Garibaldi is a top respiratory and critical care doctor. Very presciently, he helped to design a specialized ward to treat the most contagious patients in the country. The Hopkins Biocontainment Unit opened in response to the Ebola outbreak in 2014 and served as a model for the countless biocontainment units created in response to the COVID-19 pandemic. Dr. William Kaelin is the 2019 Nobel Prize in Physiology or Medicine recipient. The 2019 Nobel was awarded jointly to Kaelin, Sir Peter Ratcliffe, and Dr. Greg Zemenza for their discoveries of how cells sense and adapt to oxygen. Dr. Kaelin received his MD from Duke University and was a house officer and chief resident in internal medicine at Johns Hopkins Hospital. Dr. Tom Koenig has spent the last 35 years at Johns Hopkins. In addition to his contributions to the Department of Psychiatry, Tom served as Associate Dean for Medical Student Affairs over 16 years. Tom is an extraordinary human being. He has advised nearly 2,000 medical students, shaping the next generation of healers and leaders in medicine. He is retiring this year, and his impact as an advisor and passionate advocate for medical students will be felt for generations. Dr. Lisa Maragakis serves as the Executive Director of the Johns Hopkins Hospital Biocontainment Unit and as Incident Commander for the Johns Hopkins Medicine COVID-19 response. Dr. Maragakis has been at the forefront of the COVID-19 pandemic and has served as the face to Johns Hopkins Medicine's response to this healthcare crisis. Whenever there is a question at Hopkins or nationally on what to do in response to a challenge posed by the pandemic, Lisa has the answer. Dr. Mario Molina's service to Johns Hopkins Medicine is unparalleled. He has served as a university trustee and chair of the Osler Advisory Board. The Molina Scholars Program has generously supported the physician-scientist pathway in the Osler Medical Residency Program. Dr. Molina has funded 3 professorships in the School of Medicine. Dr. Molina's vision and support of the physician-scientists will have a lasting impact. I should also note that Dr. Molina is an expert in medical history and has helped the School of Medicine celebrate and preserve our history. Dr. Susan Shuren was Deputy Director of the National Heart, Lung, and Blood Institute at the National Institutes of Health. As Deputy Director, Dr. Shuren represented the Institute in a wide variety of activities across the NIH and the Department of Health and Human Services. Through the support of research from bench to bedside, Dr. Shuren led the Heart, Lung, and Blood Institute's efforts to transform new scientific knowledge into tangible improvements in health.
Thank you so much. It's an incredible honor to be a recipient of this Hopkins Alumnus Award. I'm so proud to be a graduate of an institution that has such a rich and proud history that really redefined medical care at its inception and continues to do so and set the standard for excellence in medical education, and also for the incredible clinical experience that I had as a medical student at Hopkins and how well this prepared me for residency training. If not for Hopkins taking a chance on me as a young student from a small town and university in Mississippi, I would not have gone into academic surgery and would not be where I am today. And for that, I am forever grateful. Thank you.
So the thing I'm most proud of my time at Hopkins is my interactions with the students. The students at Johns Hopkins are truly extraordinary, and it was really an honor to be able to play a role in launching their careers.
I spent 13 years in Baltimore with Johns Hopkins. I was an undergraduate, I went to medical school, I was on the house staff, and I did my fellowship there. And all along the way, I met tremendous mentors who took me under their wing and supported me and led me to believe that my ideas could have value. When I was an undergraduate, I was the second class of women to come to Hopkins. And when you went to the Cooley Center, the Denton Cooley Center, there was no women's bathroom there. Or women's locker room there. That's how early it was in the co-ed time. And so I thought maybe we could start a sports team, and they said sure, and we started the women's swimming team. And that's the way Hopkins is. It gives opportunity to its students and supports them and makes them believe that their ideas can take flight.
It's a profound honor and privilege to receive this recognition from the Johns Hopkins University. It's been a privilege to be a Johns Hopkins medical student, postdoctoral fellow, clinical oncology fellow at Johns Hopkins, and a 12-year faculty member in urology and in oncology, and have a really dream physician scientist career at Johns Hopkins, and a profound privilege to have mentors like Dr. Donald S. Coffey. The Hopkins gave the world the principles and practice of medicine from Osler, but it also gives the world the principles and practice of leadership for American medicine just by example. So on behalf of my entire family and me, we're just so grateful for our time at Hopkins, this award, and to the entire Johns Hopkins family, God bless.
I have had 2 stints at Johns Hopkins. The first was as a pediatric resident from 1989 to 92. I was extremely excited to come to Hopkins and to be immersed in the great tradition of excellence in the School of Medicine. I got to learn pediatrics from giants in the field like Frank Oski and Kathy DeAngelis, and also from my fellow residents who went on to do great things in their own right. One of my early attendings on the infant service was Dr. Matu Santosham. He became a lifelong mentor and a very close friend. And he and Bob Black recruited me back to Johns Hopkins into the Bloomberg School of Public Health. And there I got to found and direct the International Center for Advancing Newborn Health. I'm really proud of the collaborative multidisciplinary team that we built and the research that we conducted throughout Asia, also in Africa, examining ways to improve survival and health of newborns through empowering families and community health workers. My time at Johns Hopkins profoundly shaped and changed my thinking, my capabilities, my relationships with people in the field, and my opportunities for a lifetime. I'm so grateful. I'm so thankful for the great honor of being an outstanding alumnus of Johns Hopkins.
I'm incredibly proud of the way the Hopkins community has stepped up in our response to COVID-19. From the people on the front lines who've been providing care around the clock to patients with COVID and other patients who need care during these difficult times, to the incredible pace of scientific research that has added to our knowledge about the pathobiology of COVID, but also the way that we can treat these patients better, to the premier role that Hopkins has played in providing actionable and accurate information so that people can make informed decisions about their own response to COVID-19. It has truly been an honor and a privilege to be part of that response and to be part of the Hopkins community.
I want to thank you so much for this Johns Hopkins Distinguished Alumnus Award. I'm thinking back to July 1, 1983, when I walked into the Johns Hopkins Hospital for the first time entering on the Broadway Street entrance. And I remember being both excited, but frankly a little bit terrified. I think my heart rate was about 130. But I knew immediately that no matter what else I did in my medical career, that no one would ever be able to take away from me the fact that I had trained at Johns Hopkins. So this award is especially meaningful to me. Thank you so much for this recognition. I wish I could be there in person with you.
Thank you all so much. This means an extraordinary amount to me. But I have to admit, it feels a little odd being recognized for doing something that you absolutely love. In addition to being able to practice psychiatry at one of the top medical centers in the entire world, I've also had the great good fortune of working with medical students at Hopkins, both as a clerkship director and as a student affairs dean. And I have absolutely no doubts that they will make the future of medicine even brighter than it has been for all of us. Thanks again, and please stay well.
Thank you so much. This award means so much to me, and I am proud and extremely honored to be an alumna of Johns Hopkins University, primarily because of the extraordinary people whom I have had the privilege of calling my classmates, teachers, mentors, colleagues, and friends. These amazing individuals and the Johns Hopkins University inspire and challenge me to excel and strive to be better every day. And I have benefited from lifelong learning here through medical school, clinical residency, fellowship training, and the School of Public Health, as well as countless other opportunities to learn and grow. In particular, I've never forgotten the lessons of equanimitas learned on the Osler Medical Service, and I hope that I am able to embody this ideal in my work every day. It's truly a privilege to be even a small part of the Johns Hopkins University's amazing history and extraordinary story of scientific discovery, clinical care, teaching, and service to our community and to the world. Thank you so much.
I'm very proud to be an alumnus of Johns Hopkins and to receive this award. I think former Dean Tommy Turner summed it up best when he said the thing that makes Hopkins so special is a heritage of excellence. A heritage that began with Osler, Kelly, Welch, and Halstead, and extends down to the present day in terms of teaching, research, and patient care. For example, during the recent coronavirus pandemic, Hopkins was the trusted source for information about coronavirus. So for these reasons, I'm very pleased to accept this award, proud to be part of Johns Hopkins and to support the mission.
I am grateful to be a Hopkins alumna because I treasure my amazing teachers like Bill Zinkum, Sam and Patricia Sharash, Helen Tauzik, Guy McCann, and my colleagues who became lifelong friends like Kathy DeAngelis, George Dover, and Gary Goldstein. Hopkins prepared me for a career enriched by a passion for discovery, wonderful models of leadership, and close relationships with patients and families. Hopkins offered inspiring examples of creative scientific curiosity and true caring for patients and for colleagues. I am proud of Hopkins' more courageous efforts now to confront the crueler aspects of its origins and more recent institutional history. These were painfully evident in my time there. I am confident that Hopkins will emerge better, stronger, and even more inspiring for the next generation of physicians and scientists.
Dr. Theodore DeWeese is the Sidney Kimmel Professor of Radiation Oncology and Molecular Radiation Sciences, a Professor of Oncology and Urology, and the Vice Dean for Clinical Affairs at the Johns Hopkins School of Medicine. Most notably, he is the founding chair of the Department of Radiation Oncology and Molecular Radiation Sciences. By hiring outstanding faculty and staff, they were able to successfully build the department into one of the top radiation oncology departments in the United States. Beyond these faculty positions, he runs the Johns Hopkins Radiation Biology Laboratory, where his research included using a modified common cold virus to enter and kill only prostate cancer cells. Additionally, Dr. DeWeese is recognized internationally for his expertise in managing patients with prostate cancer. What distinguishes our dad as a great physician is his complete dedication to his patients. He sees his primary responsibility as a physician as being a guide for patients through their diagnosis and treatment of cancer physically, emotionally, and spiritually. He cares for his patients greatly. Many people don't know that he sees patients at their homes if needed, and he always gives them his home phone number. When working with a patient, he displays an expert level of care and empathy that he would wish for a member of his own family.
It goes without saying that Dr. DeWeese's dedication to his patients is only rivaled to that of his family. Despite his extremely busy schedule, our dad has always made time to come to all of our school and sporting events, even throughout college when we both attended schools in different states. He is always our first physician consultation for every fever, headache, bump, or bruise. After coming from home from work as a young resident at Hopkins, he would always give our mom a break from parenting by taking on the daunting task of lulling us to sleep. While a portrait cannot fully capture all of the amazing aspects of our dad, we are thankful the one aspect the portrait does not capture is the blinding glisten of light on the top of his bald head that we know no amount of makeup or Photoshop could have ever removed from a photograph. Congratulations, Dad, on a well-deserved award.
Good evening, everyone. First, I want to give a very special thank you to my son and daughter, Alex and Tiggs. I cannot tell you how much it means to me that you are presenting my portrait to the Johns Hopkins University. Along with my beautiful wife, Bonnie, the love and support all of you have given to me has allowed this evening and the honor of this portrait to happen. I love you all so much. I would like to extend my congratulations to my fellow honorees. I'm humbled to share this day with you. Thanks also to the Department of Radiation Oncology for helping make this day a reality for my family and me. The notion there would be a portrait of me in the Hopkins collection is nothing I ever predicted, and I am blessed to have so many great colleagues that have supported me over the years. Also, very special thank you to Alan Guerreri and to Herb and Phyllis Siegel for supporting the painting of this portrait. I am appreciative that Mr. Peter Egley agreed to paint my portrait. It was such a pleasure to work with Peter and Stu throughout the process. I owe a debt of gratitude to Paul Rothman and Ed Miller for believing in me and allowing me to serve Hopkins in so many ways, culminating in this day. Finally, despite what I am sure Tate and Alex mentioned, I believe Mr. Egley was proud to paint my bald head. I think the bigger challenge for him was whether he actually had enough white paint for my mustache. I thank you again for this great honor.
Hello, my name is Lance Chilton. As a previous recipient of this award, I am proud to introduce this year's community champions. The Johns Hopkins Alumni Association Community Champion Award recognizes outstanding contributions that address critical social, economic, and environmental needs throughout our society and communities, including local communities. The awardees may be either Johns Hopkins alumni who have impacted any community or non-alumni who have impacted a Johns Hopkins institution. Dr. Renee Blanding is the Vice President of Medical Affairs for Johns Hopkins Bayview Medical Center, and in 2013 launched the Readership to Leadership literacy program, in which she brings her lifelong love of reading to East Baltimore elementary schools. She works with teachers and community liaisons to offer programs such as Reading Bees, which provides students books to read during the winter and spring breaks. Dr. Laurel Toft is the director of the Cardiac Intensive Care Unit at the University of Louisville. Partnering with the Start the Heart Foundation, she designed a 5-minute CPR training method, Alive in 5, which has taught thousands of people CPR and increased awareness to learn for over 3 million. She also developed Heart Class to expand CPR training to high schools and resource-poor schools. Congratulations to both recipients of these awards, and thank you for all you do for your community and for Johns Hopkins.
There are so many benefits to giving back in the community, but for me, the work that we have with our reading programs in some of our elementary schools is the most rewarding, primarily because we see the appreciation and the encouragement from these students, from the teachers, and even our volunteers. And we also see a huge sense of pride in our students and accomplishment when they participate in our reading bees and our spelling bees and even our book fairs. And I can tell you that one of my most memorable occasions occurred at one of our book fairs where I saw a little boy literally hug the books that he'd received. And he told me that this was the very first time that he was able to get books that were actually his very own. I was so encouraged by this because I recognized that we had an immediate impact in the life of this child, but ultimately our goal is to have immediate impact as well as long-term impact as we contribute to these children's literacy. And so I am so proud and so committed to creating the framework where we promote literacy, and I am so privileged to serve the public in this way.
The work that I do is a combination of biomedical research and community work. What we do is we teach CPR in high schools and in particular pioneer new methods to train high schoolers that are better than the old methods. And what I love about this is that it has a direct impact on the community. So normally biomedical research can be separated from the people and the community that it's ultimately intended to serve. But in this work, we're directly there teaching people how to save lives through CPR. So even if I never publish a word of the research, we've still impacted lives by training people how to save lives. And for me, that's incredibly rewarding.
It is a great honor for me to say a few words this afternoon in tribute to Dr. Colleen G. Cook. Dr. Cook was appointed as the director of the Department of Anesthesiology and Critical Care Medicine and the Mark C. Rogers Professor of Anesthesiology in the Johns Hopkins School of Medicine in 2014. From the moment Dr. Cook arrived at Johns Hopkins, the department and the School of Medicine knew that she was a different kind of leader. Quite obviously, she was the first woman to lead the department. Colleen also made it clear that while she respected the legacy of Hopkins and Hopkins anesthesiology, she was here to forge her own path and intended to take the department to a new level. She immediately set to work to change the culture of the department because she recognized that such change could be transformational. She dedicated herself to educating and training senior departmental leaders in a program of serving leadership. The results of this effort were immediate and irrefutable. The ethos of serving leadership took root in every corner of the department and allowed us to create shared goals in which the primary question was always, as Colleen would say, what is best for our patients? And Colleen was one of the earliest advocates for improving the wellness of all members of the department. She didn't simply believe in the concept of joy in medicine. She personally brought joy to the department and Johns Hopkins. She modeled community outreach through United Way activities and with an amazing collaboration with the Community College of Baltimore to train the anesthesia technicians of tomorrow. Dr. Cook also transformed the department's missions of discovery and education. Her visionary leadership translated to the career development and success of faculty and trainees across all areas. And during her tenure, the impact of the department's publications increased, and the amount of extramural funding and number of funded clinician scientists more than doubled in the department. It was not truly a surprise to us when in November of last year, Dr. Cook announced that she would leave Johns Hopkins to become the Dean of the University of Florida College of Medicine. We understood that Colleen would have an even greater impact on improving the lives of patients and caregivers by stepping up to a higher position. Colleen, we thank you. You improved our department in Johns Hopkins through your vision and optimism. Your love for the department and its people was transformative, and our lives are better for knowing you. Today, we recognize you as a leader, colleague, and friend, and congratulate you on the presentation of your portrait.
I want to thank you for the opportunity to provide words of gratitude for my time at Johns Hopkins Medicine. I love my years as chair of anesthesiology and critical care. My department was filled with talented and committed caregivers, and for these members, I am most proud. It was a privilege to serve as their chair. I'd like to give a special thanks to my departmental leadership team over the years, Tammy, Aaron, Mira, and my project management office and staff. I am also grateful for the incredibly talented group of clinical directors who served as my colleagues. I'm grateful for Paul Rothman, who was a wonderful dean, my buddy Rob Kasdan, Kevin Sowers, the vice deans, and all the other faculty and staff I interfaced with as chair of medical board and as interim CMO of Johns Hopkins Healthcare. I hope everybody stays in touch. I consider myself lucky to be part of a wonderful community. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Dr. Shelby Wilkes. I have served on the Alumni Council since 2008. In addition, I have been a representative to the School of Medicine for the Alumni Council for the past 6 years. I am delighted to present the Johns Hopkins Alumni Association Heritage Award. The Heritage Award honors alumni and friends of Johns Hopkins who have contributed outstanding service over an extended period of time to the university or to the activities of the Alumni Association. This year, we will honor 2 outstanding alumni. Our first winner is Dr. Thomas Pearson. Dr. Thomas Pearson is an international leader in public health research and cardiovascular disease prevention. He's had a long-standing relationship with the university, which has encompassed 4 degrees, 2 residency, along with his investment of time and his resources. Dr. Pearson is a founding member of the World Heart Forum for Cardiovascular Disease Prevention, and he has been a major contributor to the American Heart Association prevention guidelines. In addition, he has a special interest in observing heart disease trends and the extent to which guidelines are carried out. Finally, he has lectured extensively and published on all of these topics. Our second winner is Dr. Linda Yao. Dr. Linda Yao served as her class of 1994 representative, and she worked tirelessly to organize her 25th reunion. Here are some of the activities she was able to accomplish. She arranged for all of the speakers, for the dinner, and she was involved in the composition of a 100 slideshow presentation commemorating her class of 1994. She personally contacted each member of her class to raise funds for the 1994 endowed scholarship for her class. Finally, Dr. Yao embodies all of the traits of an Ultramarine, which includes reliability, trustworthiness, honesty, and caring about Johns Hopkins and its graduates. Let us honor Dr. Yao.
I am deeply honored by the receipt of this, the Heritage Award, and my comments really entail what I think has been a privilege for me to have participated both in College of Medicine and College of Public Health, School of Public Health degree programs at Johns Hopkins. It has been a wonderful marriage of these two areas and has served me very well. Part of my joy of giving to Johns Hopkins had to do with then supporting the educational aspects of these two areas, which of course over the years have continued to come closer and closer together. This includes areas of preventive medicine, public health, clinical epidemiology, and the other things that I've done in my career, which really all started with the great teaching that I received on both sides of the campus at the Johns Hopkins Medical Institutions. And so it's this, it's some extent a breadth opportunity, but really more of a synergistic opportunity where I thought that my firm understanding of both these fields really provided opportunities for me to contribute to things that I thought were very important.
I have loved serving as the class representative for the fabulous Hopkins School of Medicine class of 1994. I really enjoyed working with the School of Medicine alumni office, which is really fabulous. It was great to reach out to all of my classmates, and especially to plan our 25th reunion in 2019, where we had 5 classmates give talks on their research as well as careers thus far. It was also great to see the cutting edge updates to medical education that Hopkins is known for. Because of the brainstorming at the 25th reunion dinner, I was able to chair the effort of the class of 1994 scholarship, where we raised just over $100,000 in 18 months. It has been so rewarding to give back to our alma mater, where we started our medical careers. We are all looking forward to meeting the future scholarship students.
Dean Rothman, Alan, Vicki, and family and friends of the Brady. It is my distinct pleasure and an honor to be able to say a few words about Dr. Parton at the unveiling of his portrait. Alan started his career journey standing on the shoulders of giants, the leaders of the Brady before him. And now, as the 4th chairman in the 100-year history of the Brady, he stands with those giants. Alan started his career as the classic triple threat physician scientist. He did his PhD thesis describing the harmonics of cancer cell structure and function. I hate to tell you this, Alan, but what took you 3 years to do 30 years ago now is done automatically by a computer in 3 minutes. Be that as it may, the work you performed laid the groundwork for a generation of people studying cancer cell structure and motility, including myself. Basic scientist, check. As a resident and young faculty member, Alan changed the field of urology by identifying the prognostic factors associated with risk of recurrence for men undergoing radical prostatectomy. That work became known as the Parton Tables and has been the basis of how the entire urologic community guides treatment decisions for men diagnosed with prostate cancer. Clinician scientist, check. Several thousand prostatectomies later, Alan's skills as a clinician and surgeon are world-renowned. He has taught a generation of students and residents not only how to be a skilled surgeon, but also a compassionate physician. Educator, check. Alan did not stop at being the consummate academic triple threat. As director of the Brady, Alan enables and empowers us to be great. Hopkins continues to be the place where patients with complex urologic problems choose to come, students choose to train, and we as physicians and scientists choose to work and make a difference for humanity. Leader, check. Finally, let me just say that Alan is one of the most generous and fun people that I've had the pleasure to call not only colleague, but friend. Good human, check. Alan, on behalf of the entire Brady family, congratulations.
It is indeed a great honor to share this moment with all of you. To begin with, I'd like to thank Ken for his kind words, my wife Vicki, and family members who have joined me today for their years of support and, most importantly, tolerance. It gives me great personal joy to have served as the director of the Brady Urological Institute for the past 16 years. It has been an enlightening and inspiring experience to have played a part in the evolution of the Brady and Johns Hopkins medicine. Be it my role as a clinician, educator, researcher, mentor, or administrator, I have a profound sense of pride in the advancements we have brought to the field of urology. Finally, I want to give special thanks to my friends, colleagues, patients, mentors, and mentees. You have indelibly influenced my life and career. Thank you all for this opportunity and have a wonderful evening.
Hello, my name is Isaac Kinde. As the 2019 recipient of the Outstanding Recent Graduate Award, I'm honored to congratulate this year's recipients. The Outstanding Recent Graduate Award honors recent graduates of Johns Hopkins within 10 years of graduation for outstanding achievement or service in their professional or volunteer life. Dr. Carl Streed has advocated for the health and well-being of the LGBTQ community for over a decade and has been published in multiple top-tier research journals. His efforts are recognized locally by Johns Hopkins, nationally by the American Medical Association and the Obama administration, and globally by the World Professional Association for Transgender Health. Dr. Caitlin Sadler is currently the chief of the section of immunoengineering at the National Institutes of Health. She completed her PhD at the Johns Hopkins University, where she showed a critical role for T helper 2 T cells in biomaterial-mediated muscle regeneration. She was recognized as a 2018 TED Fellow and delivered a TED Talk that has been viewed more than 2.4 million times. Dr. Sadler was selected for the 2019 Forbes 30 Under 30 list in science and as a 2020 TED Med Research Scholar.
Actually, beyond the world-class education I got at Johns Hopkins, it's the network of mentors and collaborators and friends that have really contributed most significantly to my success as both a clinician in primary care as well as a researcher focused on LGBTQ health. The education has really laid the groundwork, but it is the network that has really allowed me to succeed both nationally and internationally on these topics.
This award really means so much to me. I was a student at Johns Hopkins for about 4 years, though it feels like much longer. In a good way though, because 5 years after defending my PhD, it still feels like yesterday. My mentors in my PhD program taught me the strength and importance of scientific research in medicine. Years of basic science resulted in a COVID vaccine going from viral sequence to distribution in under a year. An interdisciplinary effort of molecular biology, biophysics, and bioengineering. The CMM PhD program, my thesis advisor, Dr. Alicia, prepared me for the struggle of near constant small failures. Experiments not working, papers being rejected, a freezer losing power over the weekend. Knowing it's the long game for us, we build our successes over years, and sometimes have a really good day.
Hello, I'm Marie Nolan, Interim Dean of Johns Hopkins School of Nursing. It is my great pleasure to present to you today the portrait of Dr. Patricia Davidson, 4th Dean of the Johns Hopkins School of Nursing. As many of you know, Trish launched our school to new heights. She prioritized social justice and made sure that faculty, students, and staff all had opportunities to flourish. The portrait, painted by Peter Eggley, is a beautiful reflection of who Dean Davidson is. It is painted in warm tones. Oranges, yellows, and greens in the jacket dominate. Also, the background is painted in yellow and brown. It seems that her warm and welcoming personality affected the artist, as it did everyone. The high contrast between the bright colors and the black in the jacket suggests her vibrant personality. The subtle smile shows the confidence of a job well done. But maybe also a little mischief. There's humor behind that expression. She's leaning forward slightly, as if listening. Her 2 hands pointed in that direction suggest the same. Open to conversation, always focused on the person in front of her. It is how we will all remember her. The portrait will reside in our newly renovated School of Nursing building, accomplished through the leadership of Dean Davidson and generosity of our donors. Thank you all for your support and for the opportunity to share this special portrait with you today. Dean Davidson is an inspiration to us all, and her leadership and impact will forever be remembered and cherished by the School of Nursing community.
Today is a great honor for me in so many ways. Firstly, to have the honor of being the Dean of the Johns Hopkins School of Nursing for almost 8 years has been such a highlight of my career and truly an honor and a privilege. This portrait also has particular significance for me. My very first sitting was in the fall last year, just as we were all emerging weary from much of the pandemic. And I had the opportunity to travel to Southern Maryland. And as for someone who hadn't really not been out of East Baltimore for almost a year, it was such an extremely beautiful day. And Peter and Stu's house on the shores of Southern Maryland was like out of a picture book. And to have the opportunity to meet Peter and Stu was really something that was incredibly special. And I remember emailing to my friends in Australia saying, I've just met the most amazing couple. And then to hear on the Monday that Stu had died was really so incredibly sad. I just felt so much for Peter. And at that time, my portrait was the very last thing in my mind. I just thought of the anguish and the grief of a couple just split apart in a nanosecond. And I just found it just upsetting and very emotional. Particularly because my area of research is sort of women and heart disease. I felt a real connection with them personally and with my story. And then to see my portrait finished just the way that Stu had envisaged it, with that jacket on, which by the way was just in what I wore for casually in the car down to Southern Maryland, with a box of very fancy executive clothes. And Stu looked at that top. She said, "That's you. That's how we want to paint you." So in so many ways, this portrait is a story of many things. It's a story of my incredible privilege to be at the amazing Johns Hopkins. And I also think it's a story of a lifetime. It's a story of Peter and Stu's partnership. And what an honor. And I look forward in generations that my children will be going to Johns Hopkins and say, that was my grandma. So what an honor today. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Gretchen Burbeck, and I am proud to have completed both my residency and fellowship training in the Department of Neurology at Johns Hopkins. The Johns Hopkins Alumni Association Global Achievement Award honors alumni who exemplify the Hopkins tradition of excellence, bringing credit to the university and their profession in the international arena through academic achievement or humanitarian service. I am pleased to congratulate Dr. Karen Schneider as our 2021 honoree. Dr. Schneider is a pediatrician and assistant professor at Johns Hopkins, where she has been recognized for her international medical work in the service of children. She received an honorary doctorate of humane letters during the St. Joseph's College commencement exercises in 2019. She has completed more than 80 medical service trips abroad. Through her service in Haiti, Guyana, Nigeria, and Kenya, She has provided medical assistance to countless people in need, and equally importantly, has touched the lives of both the young and the not so young with her healing presence. Congratulations, Dr. Schneider.
I had some experiences as a medical student and pediatric resident in Guyana and Haiti. And these experiences woke me to the plight of the economically poor child in countries with limited resources. I couldn't shake those experiences. They were calling me to come back. And at the same time, I was looking for a fellowship in pediatric emergency medicine. I wanted to combine peds emergency with international work. And 22 years ago, every program I interviewed at told me that wasn't possible, until Johns Hopkins. The fellowship director said, "You'd be the first, but why not?" The Hopkins door opened to a pediatric emergency medicine fellowship, an MPH, and 20 years on the faculty. While obtaining my MPH, I sat next to people who were health ministers in various countries, and I listened. I learned what worked and what was futile. I learned how resource plentiful countries and NGOs tried programs that failed. I learned to partner with the people in the countries, how to return multiple times, how to build sustaining relationships, and most importantly, I learned that they know what is best for their people. I've been able to create an international child health program where pediatric trainees, nurses, and faculty provide health care and surgical care to the children. And we've also provided equipment and in-country training for their healthcare providers. Most of our work is in remote areas. Approximately 4% of children are born with indirect inguinal hernias, which, if large, can interfere with the child's daily activities. We've created a program in Nigeria, Kenya, and Haiti, where children from very rural areas don't have to travel to the big city to get surgery. We bring the surgery to them. The world will not change if one child has surgery, but for that one child, the world will change forever. I am honored to receive this award. Thank you very much.
Dr. Robert Lehrer is a 1970 graduate of the School of Medicine and was the first Cuban American to do so. His family fled to the U.S. after the triumph of the Communist Revolution, and Dr. Lehrer has dedicated his career to giving back to the poorest and most marginalized in society, first locally, then around the world. He launched the first and only medical faculty exchange program between the U.S. and Cuba, which accounts for over 50 such trips.
On the occasion of receiving the Samuel Asper Award, I want to thank, first of all, my parents, who, as refugees from Castro's communist Cuba in 1960, sacrificed so much so that I could attend both college and medical school. Secondly, I want to thank my classmates from the class of 1970. I learned a lot from you. We shared a lot of trials and a lot of laughs, and we still keep up with one another. Finally, I thank my Hopkins professors. During the preclinical years, Drs. Leninger, Mountcastle, Nathans, and Talalay in particular. And most influential during my clinical years were Drs. Cook, Dr. Harvey, Dr. Tumulty, Dr. Momini, and Dr. Samuel Asper, who was one of my instructors in physical diagnosis year 2. Thank you all.
Good afternoon. I am Dr. Ann Murphy, and I am the president of the Johns Hopkins Women's Medical Alumni Association. This afternoon, it is my honor to present the first of 2 nominees for this award. And her name is Dr. Estelle Gauda. She had a long history of being a faculty faculty member at Johns Hopkins before she became the chief of neonatology at Toronto Sick Kids. And she's recognized as a teacher, mentor, and scholar.
I want to take this opportunity and thank each one of the individuals from the Alumni Association for selecting me for this award. It is a true honor, for sure. It is especially important to me to be recognized for the mentoring that I've done for young students, medical students, and others, particularly those of color, and my position at Johns Hopkins allowed me to do that. I also want to say that I was around amazing people who gave me amazing opportunities to be who I am today. And I want to make a special thanks to Dr. Janice Clemens for believing in me and my leadership skills and giving me the opportunity to lead at Johns Hopkins. Thank you.
My name is Rachel Levine, and I am the current Associate Vice Chair for Women in the Department of Medicine. It is my great privilege to provide this introduction of Dr. Susan McDonald, who today is bestowed the honor of being inducted into the Johns Hopkins Women's Alumni Association Hall of Fame. Dr. Susan McDonald was a true pioneer, always fearlessly advocating for women. Dr. McDonald graduated from Regis College, earned her MD from the University of Massachusetts, and came to the Osler Internal Medicine Residency program in 1980, where she served as an assistant chief of service. She then completed fellowships in both rheumatology and clinical immunology. Dr. McDonald developed an early interest in the promotion of careers of women, initiating a mentoring program for women fellows. She chaired the Department of Medicine's Task Force on Women's Academic Careers in Medicine from 1995 to 1997. In 1997, she became the Deputy Director for Faculty and Career Development in the Department of Medicine. Recognition of her innovative and impactful work in that role led her to the School of Medicine Office of Faculty Development in 2001, where she led the work on developing the Professional Development Guide for Faculty, now known as the Silver Book. Dr. McDonald was the first woman Associate Chair of the Department of Medicine. She received a Women in Leadership Award from Johns Hopkins University in 2002, the David M. Levine Excellence in Mentoring Award in 2003, and became advisor to the Office of Women in Science in 2008. She served on the Advisory Committee on Mentoring for Johns Hopkins University and received the inaugural Vice Dean's Award for the Advancement of Women in 2009. She was interim director of the Division of Allergy and Clinical Immunology until her retirement in 2016. Dr. McDonald was an accomplished scientist. Her laboratory focused on mechanisms of histamine release and developed the first inducible transgenic mouse model in this field. Dr. McDonald was a member of a number of allergy and immunology societies. She served on the editorial board for the Journal of Allergy and Clinical Immunology and multiple advisory committees and review groups nationally and internationally. As Professor Emerita, she continued to mentor and wrote grants for community foundations. I am so proud and honored to bestow this induction on Dr. McDonald today.
So incredibly pleased to accept this award on behalf of my wife, Susan, who peacefully passed away at the Johns Hopkins Hospital in September 2020 after a lengthy illness with her sister Karen and myself at her bedside. We spent over 20 years being happily married, and for those who knew her, I'm sure she would tell you how much she would appreciate this award. So thank you so very much.
I want to once again congratulate each of our award and portrait honorees. Thank you for your dedication and perseverance over the years, especially over the past 13 months. I would like to thank all of you, families, friends, and colleagues, for joining us today.